Planning a trip you've always wanted to take is a great way to kick off one's retirement. But what goes into planning that trip? Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Andre. This is Retirement Off and Running, and if you're new here, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. This channel, we talk about all things retirement, thinking about leading up to retirement, actually making the decision to retire, being early in retirement, all things retirement. For those of you who are coming back, you know the deal. Thank you so much for coming back. I truly, truly appreciate it. But let's talk about getting ready for the trip, or for travel in general. For us, as many of you on this channel know, returning viewers know that this for us was a big trip to the African continent. That is the trip that we chose to kick off our retirements, a trip we had been talking about for many, many years. And we learned a few things as we got ready for this trip, wanted to share them with you. And this is just a compilation of random tips, not in any particular order, but here's what we learned. First thing, choose the right destination. For us, we had always wanted to go to Africa. We'd heard about it for many years. Other friends of ours and family had gone. We'd heard such great things. We wanted to go there ourselves. But for you, it's wherever you would like to go. Hey, I'd like to go climb, Mount Everest, or I want to go and see the San Francisco Bay Bridge, or I always wanted to go to Sydney, Australia. Whatever it is, pick the right destination, and typically, my suggestion would be, let it be one of those bucket list kind of things. I just always wanted to go see X, and now kicking off retirement, or within retirement, let me go do that if I have somehow managed to get all the way to retirement and did not actually yet get to do that. But wherever you're going, you want to make sure that you check to see, is it the right time of year? If you want to go skiing, for example, you don't want to go to this particular ski destination when there's a very low chance that it snows. Maybe it's summertime. If you wanted to go climb a mountain, maybe you wanted to pick when it's a nicer weather and it's easier to climb that mountain than maybe in the depths of winter when the mountain is snow covered. Just want to be very careful about choosing the time of year that's best for you to go. Plan according to your comfort level. You may want to say, well, I want to go backpacking, or I want to go camping, versus somebody says, hey, I want to see what it's like to stay at a 5-star hotel and use all of the various amenities that they have available at that destination. So you want to make sure that you take into account what are your requirements or your expectations of the destination, and make sure that you plan accordingly to your comfort level. Take care of health and safety. It's another point we want to make. When we were getting ready for our trip to Africa and we started to do some research, there were vaccination requirements. The big one was yellow fever. So we had to get our yellow fever vaccinations. We also got little tips like, in certain places, don't drink the water because their water isn't as well cared for as we are here in the United States. So you want to make sure that you took bottled water. Any other sorts of things, whether it be malaria pills that you need to take, or things for upset stomachs or whatever have you. You might also want to make sure that you take any sort of medications that you are accustomed to having easy access to. Might even be something as simple as aspirin or Tylenol or whatever. You may want to take some of that with you just in case when you're on your trip that you can't easily access or don't have the ability to quickly get to a pharmacy or what have you to get the things that you would normally pick up here in the grocery store or whatever have you. Packing. Pack smart and lightly. You have to take all of this stuff that you're carrying with you from place to place, from the plane on to, whether you're getting it off of the checked bags thing, to the Uber or to your rental car, to the hotel, and so on. And if you're going to multiple destinations, all of this stuff has to go with you. So be very careful about your packing, that you don't overpack, because all this stuff has to be moving with you. Also take into consideration things that we do. Hey, the plugs that we use in different countries are different. So one of the things that was most important to us in our trip was the adapters that we got for changing the plugs that we use in the US. The plugs in England are different than the plugs in Africa, which are different than the plugs in Australia, and so on. So based on where we were going, we bought these, and they're not very expensive, these little adapters. Make sure you have batteries for your cell phone or your cameras and so on, that you remember to take all of the things that will make your trip very memorable. And that can really cause some kind of consternation if you don't. Something as simple as a outlet strip to make sure that you've got enough outlets to plug in your computer and your iPad and your camera to recharge and so on there. And one thing that may seem obvious, but definitely if you're going to be exploring a new city or going hiking or whatever, make sure you carry the appropriate footwear. So you're not struggling with, oh, we've got to walk, a half mile in this mall, down this promenade or whatever have you, and you're wearing shoes that are uncomfortable or the inappropriate shoes. So again, very important thing here, pack smartly and lightly. Include unique experiences. When you're going to a place that you've never been before, that's maybe on your bucket list of hey, I want to go here, I want to see that. Do the things that you could not have the opportunity to do anywhere other than there. If I were going to Paris, let's say, I want to see the Eiffel Tower. I've seen it in movies and the Olympics last year and so on, but I want to see that in person. I can't see the Eiffel Tower anywhere else other than there. If I go to New York, I may want to see the Empire State Building or the Statue of Liberty and so on. So, make sure that you are focused on the things that are unique to there. If you want to go to Rwanda, you might want to go gorilla trekking. Now, I know you can do gorilla trekking elsewhere, but I can do that in Washington, D.C. or in Texas, and so on. So do the things that are unique to the locations that you're going to and make sure that you do those potentially once in a lifetime things. Book flights and accommodations early. One of the joys of being retired is that you're not tied down to a specific date or time. I have to go between April 7th and April 13th because that's when I have PTO available. I'm retired. So now, hey, if it makes sense for me to go April 1st or May 13th or June 5th, I can do that. And that allows you to be able to get much better deals because now you're tied to, well, when's the lowest cost availability for me to get the hotel accommodations here or to get flights to wherever it is I'm trying to go to. But whatever they are, typically you're going to find that the further out you book, the less expensive things are. They tend to get more expensive as you get closer to this. So pick your destination, pick your accommodations, and try to do as much of your booking as early as possible to reduce the amount of money that it's going to cost, and also kind of have a better guarantee of having the availability of the flights and the hotels and so on at the time that you actually want to go. And then once you get where you're going, embrace local culture. And get to know the people, listen to the languages that they speak and how they interact with one another. That was one of our favorite parts of our trip to Africa. When we were in Ghana, I'm a pretty finicky eater. I eat the same things over and over again because I know them, I've tasted them, I like what they taste like. Boom, I just keep doing over and over again. And I very rarely kind of experiment with new foods. And I know some people are foodies and they want to experiment. That's great. But on our trip, it was, let me try some things I've never tried before. And in Ghana, for example, we tried something called gari photo. I loved it. I had it 2 or 3 times while we were there and would have had it more often if I could. Really enjoyed it. So you want to take the opportunities to explore things of the local culture. Go to museums where they are, see things that you've never seen before, but that are unique to that location. In Ghana, we had a tour guide, and that was a very good decision for us to actually have somebody who could take us around and show us the unique perspective of somebody who was native to where we were. We took little tours in Johannesburg and in Cape Town with people who were native to the thing and could give us, a good perspective on the history of the location. We could hear how they spoke. They could teach us little phrases and point different things out that you might not necessarily see if you were driving your own car and driving around there and so on. Something else to be aware of here. We fully embraced doing things like Uber when we were in these different locations. At no point did we rent a car. If I were going to New York, I'd have no problem renting a car, or, San Francisco or Los Angeles or wherever have you. But going to a different continent, in a completely different country where the rules of the road may be significantly different, the maps that are available and GPS and so on may be very different. And I really have no idea where I was. I was just much more comfortable using a service like Uber to say, hey, I'm going to be picked up here at the airport or whatever. I'm going to be taken to the hotel. For example, the first night we were in Johannesburg, we took an Uber and the hotel was about 35 minutes away from the airport. And my wife kept looking at me like, this is kind of sketchy. We don't know where we're going. And then boom, all of a sudden we come around a corner and there's the hotel. But part of the problem was it wasn't a sketchy neighborhood. It's just dark and it's at night and we don't know where we are. And the only person that kind of knows is the driver of the vehicle telling us, this is that he knows where he's going there. So you want to be, make things like that. Is it better to just be transported by something like an Uber, take a tour with a local guide to get you where you're going and to kind of keep you focused and safe? Very important to be safe. So those are our best tips that I had about planning for a kickoff trip or any vacation really there. But the key thing is to get out there and actually take trips and go to places that you've always wanted to go to. If you've enjoyed this video here, I ask that you like, share, subscribe. Please comment down below. Tell me what your vacation plans are. Do you have a dream Africa trip or any sort of retirement kickoff trip? I always wanted to go to the Maldives, or I always wanted to go to Iceland or wherever have you, Machu Picchu. Please let me know in the comment section below and maybe we can share ideas about places we'd like to go in this wonderful thing called retirement. Thank you again, and as always, in a later times.